ended up coming to San Antonio to go to St. Mary's Law School. And it was after 4 years of enlisting in the Army. And well, I was in law school. I decided, hey, what do I want to do? And I had a little bit of background in sports. I actually played at Oak Hill Academy. Older Spurs fans will remember Corey Alexander.
Yeah.
He was a teammate of mine. So I played with six
no
guys.
Kidding.
Yeah, yeah. So I played with 6 guys that played in the NBA. And so I had that background, but even though I played basketball, football still was always my first love. And I had this great idea that the Metroplex and Houston are represented hugely with agents, but San Antonio, there's only 3 of us right now in the general area. And so I thought, well, let me throw into this. And so while I was in Iraq for 2 years, I studied the NFLPA study guide and got back here in June of 2006 and went to Washington and took the test and got certified. And I mean, that's generally how I got into it. I was a little bit of naive on thinking about how it would be operating in the business, but you know, it's gone well since then.
All right, well, I mean, tell us some good stories. I mean, what have been some of the things that come out, you know, that kind of stand out to you that you thought, wow, I never thought I'd be doing this right now at this particular moment? I mean, because you've got clients that play for the Cowboys.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, to go back to the beginning, my wife would tell you that she didn't think that we would be having other people live in our house. So, you know, when I first got in the business, see, a lot of people don't realize there's a lot of money spent. You know, we don't just go in there and represent guys and we make all the money. We actually invest a lot of money in the players that we get. So there's training, there's housing, there's feeding them prior to all the combine and the pro day stuff. And anyhow, when I first got into it, I had a young guy. He was from Florida, but played at University of Iowa and had gotten kicked out. We won't go into that story, but he was training with Bebe here. Mm-hmm. And then we decided to keep him a little bit longer. Well, we needed somewhere to stay, and it's like, come on over to my house, and my kids will tell you, oh yeah, we remember him. He was eating all our turkey and salami and leaving the house at 2 in the morning, and you know, and just the different people you meet, and you know, with Brian on the Cowboys, you know, at one time in my life I was a huge Cowboy fan. Now not so much. We won't go into who I root for now, but
I think I know who you root for, and I think they were hoisting the trophy at the end of the year, right?
Yeah, yeah. So I've had meetings with players and their advisors that probably are not the best people in the community, and you learn that maybe I shouldn't represent this guy. You know, and then there's the sad aspect too of you know, a lot of the players from the time they were little have been given a lot of stuff because they have been the best player on the team, and to realize that, you know, some of these guys got to realize that, you know, this is not going to be forever, and they're going to have a hard time getting into the real world.
Well, how many clients do you have right now in the pros?
So 3 guys. I have Jarvion Williams from UTSA with the Bengals, Brian Price, as we were talking about earlier, with the Cowboys, and then Jonathan Anderson, who's from Corpus Christi. And played at TCU, and he's up with the Bears right now. And the other player I was talking about was a kid named Donovan Newsom. He was with the 49ers, and prior to that was with the University of Missouri. And then I have a couple other guys that have played in Canada, and one guy that was in the spring league with Johnny up there. And then I have a coach actually at the University of Missouri, Sam Carter, who used to play at TCU.
When you're doing what you do, it seems like you've got to be 2 steps ahead when you're just trying to find clients, or, you know, maybe find the guy that, you know, might make it, may not, but, you know, you got to have an eye for judging some of these guys in terms of talent. I mean, how much work do you have to put in just, you know, scouring the state, the local, whatever you're doing in order to find guys?
Yeah, so then this is part of the eye-opening part of the business that you wouldn't realize when you think you're going into it. Generally for me, because I work for myself and I don't work for another large corporation, you have to be a scout as well, as you were saying, and There's all kinds of different scouting services you can look at, but you have to start realizing what the NFL scouts are looking for. And generally for me, I've had luck with large linebackers that run fast. The perfect example is Jonathan up there with the Bears. He played on the 2014 TCU team that went to the Peach Bowl and kicked everyone's butt. However, he didn't even start. And he is the only sole remaining player off that defense in the NFL.
Wow.
Reason being, he's 6'2", 236, and runs a 4.48. So the NFL views him as, worst case scenario, he's a special teams guy running down on kickoffs and punt and whatnot. Best case scenario, he's someone that will learn the defense and come in there and be able to contribute.